Tonight on CTV News, emotional verdict.
There was joy in that, knowing that the judge saw this for what it was.
Justice for the de Jongs. A judge finds 3 men guilty in the brutal murders of an Abbotsford couple. Reaction from a packed courthouse.
We know how important it is to get around, spending time with family and friends instead of sitting in a car.
The next stop for the SkyTrain to Langley. How much the cost have skyrocketed. Metro Vancouver under the microscope. Why politicians got paid more than $100 a minute for a very quick meeting.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A judge has found 3 men guilty of the murders of a popular elderly couple in their Abbotsford home. The details of their killings were gruesome. The first-degree murder convictions brought some relief to family members who have been living a nightmare for the past 4 years. CTV's Michelle Bernaro reports and a warning about the graphic details in the story.
Outside the courthouse, the daughters of murder victims Arnold and Joanne de Jong stand alongside flowers and photos, a tribute to the parents they lost.
They had so many things about them that were so special to us that we miss every day.
Inside court, the family would soon learn the verdict for 3 men accused of killing the elderly couple in May of 2022.
This week's been a little excruciating. I don't think any of us have slept well.
A judge saying that Abhijit Singh, Kushveer Tour and Gurkaran Singh are all guilty of first-degree murder. The ruling a huge relief for the de Jong family.
Like my heart was going to come out of my chest. I think there was joy in that, knowing that the judge saw this for what it was.
The couple, who were grandparents in their 70s, were found dead in their home on May 9th, 2022. They had been tied up with rope. Arnold's head had been wrapped in duct tape and Joanne's throat had been slashed. The judge rejected defense claims that it was a robbery gone wrong, instead saying she was satisfied that the murders were carefully planned and executed. The judge saying the de Jongs were killed to eliminate them as witnesses and pointed to DNA evidence as well as fingerprints of one of the accused. Crown argued the motivation was financial pressure and greed.
We have this first-degree conviction for all 3 suspects on both accounts, but yet we still grieve.
Abhijit Singh had an exterior home cleaning business, and he and Tour had done work at the de Jong's home the month before the killings. Court had heard that both Gurkaran Singh and Tour had come to Canada on student visas. The family, meanwhile, is grateful for the support they have received, but this day is bittersweet.
4 years ago today, we spent the last time with my parents.
They had so many things about them that were so special to us that we miss every day.
Sentencing is set for May 28th. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
Some frightening moments in Vancouver after a large fire forced the evacuation of a pair of homes in Mount Pleasant. Lauren Pullen is following this in the Breaking News Center. Lauren, what can you tell us?
Mijung, the house where that fire started was under construction, but the homes on either side were evacuated when the blaze began at around 1:30 p.m. It happened in the 100 block of 17th Avenue, which is between Columbia and Manitoba. And it was a stubborn blaze for crews to fight, with smoke so thick for the first few hours. People were being advised to close their windows and stay inside.
There was smoke and flames coming through the roof at the time when the first crews arrived. They upgraded to a working fire. We have a second alarm assignment right now, so we have a lot of firefighters here. We have over 30 firefighters on scene right now.
The flames did spread to a neighboring home, but were quickly extinguished and only caused minor damage. No workers were inside that home under construction when crews arrived, and paramedics just confirmed to us tonight no one was injured. A fire investigator is now on scene to work to determine what caused the blaze. Meech?
Thank you, Lauren. A vehicle fire led to lane closures on the Queensborough Bridge this afternoon. New Westminster police say crews were called around 2 o'clock. The bridge was initially shut down in both directions as crews worked to clear fuel and debris off the bridge. All lanes have since reopened. A major transit project south of the Fraser is one step closer to opening. The Surrey-Langley SkyTrain expansion has been years in the making. Officials say construction is on time, but the price tag has gone up. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has the details.
The long road to expanded transit south of the Fraser has reached the homestretch.
We know how important it is to get around. Spending time with family and friends instead of sitting in a car. Spending time building our provincial economy instead of sitting in a car.
Officials gathered at the site of the future Willowbrook Station in Langley Friday, the 8th and final station to go under construction. The 16-kilometer extension will run from King George Station to downtown Langley along an elevated guideway. Once completed, a trip from Langley City Centre to Surrey Central will take 22 minutes, and commuters will be able to get to downtown Vancouver in about an hour.
This project is going to transform how people get around south of the Fraser and create much smoother connections across the Lower Mainland.
In 2012, plans were underway for a light rail transit system, but in 2018, Surrey City Council, led by then-Mayor Doug McCallum, voted to suspend the project and requested the funding go towards the SkyTrain. The province is paying the majority of the $5.9 billion bill, which has increased from the original $4 billion estimate. The Premier points to rising construction costs as the reason why.
Do we stop projects? Do we cancel projects and say, not right now? We are not making that decision.
One transit advocate says the project is great, but more needs to be done in the meantime as the region grows.
We want to finally start, getting on this process of increasing bus service, increasing transit service to match population growth.
The estimated completion date is the fall of 2029. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Langley.
In Victoria, a police officer has been suspended after being charged with sexual assault. Victoria PD says it was made aware of the allegation about a year ago stemming from an incident while the officer was off duty. The investigation conducted by the West Shore RCMP then led to the arrest of 31-year-old Constable Chris Coyotes, who joined the department in 2019. Vic PD's police chief says it is owning the incident as it hopes to not lose trust with the people of Victoria.
I recognize that matters like this can shake the public's trust in police. And I feel very strongly that being open and transparent and honest about these matters when they do arise is a way to address that very thing.
Coyotes has since been released from custody and his next court date is July the 30th. For the first time in 25 years, BC nurses are holding a vote on whether to strike. Talks between the union and the province broke down in April. As CTV's Martin McMahon reports, one of the major sticking points is benefits.
Nurses are voting over the next 4 days on whether to approve a strike mandate.
We were forced into this based on a total lack of respect at the bargaining table. And for that reason, our bargaining team declared the impasse and went to a strike vote. So this is not the choice that nurses would first make, but boy, oh boy, are we ready.
Last month, the union announced it had hit an impasse with the Health Employers Bargaining Association. Benefits, particularly for registered massage therapy and physio, are among the areas where the sides remain far apart. The most recent collective bargaining agreement noted the use of massage therapy covered by the benefit plan had increased from $3 million to $31 million over the span of a decade.
We came out with our top 5 priorities, the number one being maintaining or improving our benefits. We've drafted numerous proposals, and the employer has returned either with slow rolling it, outright denying it, or saying that the priorities of nurses are not the priorities of the employers.
In a statement, the employer writes, BC has robust essential services requirements for the health sector to prevent immediate and serious danger to the health of the public in the case of any job action. HEA BC continues to be available to meet with the union at the bargaining table to address the issues that both parties believe are important. Today, the Premier expressed optimism the sides can reach a deal.
I'm pleased to note that we have recently reached an agreement with the doctors of British Columbia, and I am sure that we will be able to reach agreement with the nurses on crucial issues that they are bringing to the table, including conditions of work and compensation, appropriate benefits, and so on. We'll be able to reach those agreements, I'm sure of it.
If nurses vote in favor of a strike, the union says escalating job action could range from wearing strike buttons to an overtime ban. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Post-secondary institutions in BC are among those caught up in a global cyber attack. It involves a popular learning management system used by 30 million people. As CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports, a lot of students have been left in limbo.
An online system used by UBC students went offline Thursday after a massive hacker cyber attack.
It was honestly a bit surprising because, given that UBC is like a big university, I wouldn't really expect UBC to have such a data breach.
I was a little bit shocked. After logging into Canvas, a system used to manage grades, course notes, and assignments. A status page shows the problem started Thursday morning when some students couldn't log in. Parent company Instructure confirms an unauthorized actor altered pages seen by some users, prompting the system to be taken offline temporarily. UBC says it acted quickly. In a statement, the university says as soon as it became aware of the incident, it took steps to investigate and is currently advising community members not to try logging into Canvas until further notice. SFU also confirming it was impacted, saying some personal information may have been involved, including names, email addresses, student ID numbers, and messages between users. The breach is part of a much larger attack impacting schools worldwide after a hacking group known as the Shiny Hunters claimed responsibility.
This group is been active since 2019. They're sophisticated, they're good at what they do, and they are just seemingly rolling one hit after another.
Experts say while the size of the breach is alarming, the incident itself isn't surprising.
We don't know yet the full extent of what is stored in Canvas in all those contexts, but no matter what, it's going to be an awful mess to clean up.
And he adds, large systems, not individuals, were the target.
There is nothing we can do as individual consumers. This is not about us having stronger passwords or multi-factor authentication. These are attacks on the centralized systems themselves.
Shipley says something needs to be done on the federal level to protect people's information.
We need better privacy legislation nationally because it shouldn't be up to the provinces.
Demetra Marigo, CTV News, Vancouver.
Another questionable use of taxpayer dollars. Members of Metro Vancouver's Regional Planning Committee make a whopping $557 for a meeting that lasts less than 4 minutes. The story in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at our live shot from Grouse Mountain, looking down at downtown Vancouver. It's still looking pretty hazy out there. Sometimes the sun breaks through in the afternoon. Sometimes the clouds linger.
Yeah, it's starting to clear right now, which is great news. As promised, we started off quite cloudy, so we are seeing it clear out of the way. And that's what we can expect heading into the weekend. But for now, it is mostly cloudy out there. Here's a look at temperatures across the Lower Mainland. 15 at the Harbour, 16 degrees in Burnaby and in North Vancouver. You're looking at 16 degrees in Chilliwack as well. So as we head into the weekend tomorrow, we'll enjoy a mix of sun and cloud. 18 degrees inland, temperatures will reach 22. And for Mother's Day on Sunday, we'll see a few clouds, a touch cooler at 17, but I'm sure it is definitely patio and flower weather for whatever your mom wants anyways. And it stays dry as we head into the next week. I've got your full forecast coming up.
And it's always flower weather, right?
Oh, for sure. It's May, right?
All right, thanks, Anne. It's another eyebrow-raising use of money at Metro Vancouver. More than a dozen elected board members were paid more than $100 a minute for a meeting that lasted less than 4 minutes. Officials are defending it as necessary, but it comes at a time the organization is grappling with its future. CTV's Penny Daflos explains.
Thursday morning, this meeting moved so fast, Langley Township's mayor joked,
I'm almost going to break my own record today.
With the Regional Planning Committee hearing from a deputy GM on development cost charges.
That has now gone to the inspector at the province to review.
The whole thing lasted just 3 minutes and 43 seconds.
And that's Carrie. Have a great day, everybody.
But all 13 participants are still entitled to their full per-meeting compensation, an eye-popping $557. In an email statement, Woodward said, Metro Vancouver regularly cancels meetings when there is no substantive business. However, the items on this meeting agenda required an immediate decision.
So I would say most of our board meetings are upwards of 4 hours, and there's an immense amount of reading and preparation that goes into those meetings.
Nonetheless, the organization has been in the spotlight for its use of taxpayer dollars, from the North Vancouver wastewater plant's multi-billion-dollar cost increase to its whopping 41-member board.
Closing the meeting.
Once called the GVRD, Metro Vancouver is the organization responsible for regional issues like ensuring our drinking water is safe, monitoring our air quality, and managing sewage for the entire Lower Mainland. Last year, an independent audit by Deloitte made 49 recommendations.
I don't think it's damning. I mean, we've done a lot of governance reviews that I would say are a lot more damning than that one.
Metro Vancouver publicly tracks progress on those improvements and has now opened public feedback on what the board should look like going forward.
Looking at the size and structure of the boards, because in fact we have 4 boards, and looking at whether that continues to serve us well or whether we should try to reduce the size.
Because substance is important, but optics has a huge impact in politics. And whether it's hundreds of dollars for a few minutes at the table or too many seats, it doesn't look like good value to taxpayers. Penny Duffloss, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Squamish Nation held a blessing ceremony today as it prepares to welcome residents to a new high-rise in the city. The ceremony was to bless the first tower at the Sanok development at the south end of the Burrard Bridge, which is the site of an ancient Squamish village. The nation is calling these towers an unprecedented step towards self-sufficiency. 20% of the 1,400 rentals will be affordable, with the rest being market rentals. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith was in Ottawa. Why she says she's more optimistic now about a pipeline to the coast. Also ahead.
I believe she would be alive today, and I believe her boys would have their mother.
The push for better mental health supports after a Vancouver woman suffering from postpartum depression died by suicide. When CTV News at 6 continues, stay with us. Powell River RCMP have arrested one man in relation to a fire that police believe was intentionally set. The fire happened at a Rona location in Powell River on Wednesday night and caused a reported $500,000 in damage. Police say they arrested a 43-year-old man this morning. As we get set to mark Mother's Day on Sunday, it's important to remember some new moms struggle with severe postpartum depression. After the tragic suicide of a Vancouver woman 18 months ago, there's a push to create a space where mothers can get mental health treatment without leaving their babies. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
Kiri Bird and Jenna Dorman were as close as two friends could be.
We celebrated every holiday together and vacation together, and we planned our pregnancies together as well. So my son is 6 weeks younger than hers.
After the birth of her second baby, Dorman experienced severe postpartum depression.
She was really struggling with insomnia, and that's when things really started to escalate. And between the time she told me that she was having suicidal ideation and her first attempt in my mind, it was only a few weeks.
The mother of two needed inpatient hospitalization, but was reluctant to leave her new baby.
She wanted to bond with her baby and she wanted to heal. There is nowhere in Canada right now where mothers can be treated for mental health safely with their children. It's a huge gap.
In November 2024, Dorman took her own life at the age of 42.
Jenna's death was preventable. If there had been a mother and baby unit where she could have gone and healed for an extended period of time, supervised and supported and feel loved for, I believe she would be alive today. And I believe her boys would have their mother.
In honor of her friend, Bird created In Her Circle, an advocacy group that's fundraising for better postpartum mental health supports.
We're so excited to be partnered with the Pacific Postpartum Support Society, who are offering now a drop-in program to eliminate wait lists for postpartum peer group support.
The ultimate goal is a permanent space where women could be treated with their baby.
We're calling for the immediate funding of the perinatal mental health ward at BC Women's. So really this campaign, it has a lot of hope. It's a call to action.
Bird's daughter never got to meet her mom's best friend, whose death has inspired a movement to improve care for women suffering from postpartum depression.
Jenna created space for women in her life, and I truly believe that this will be her legacy in death, to create this really critical space that we know is needed.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
If you or someone you know needs help, the Suicide Crisis Helpline is available 24 hours a day. To reach the helpline, just call or text 988. If you need immediate assistance, call 911 or go to the nearest hospital. Alfonso Davies, the captain of Team Canada, suffered another injury. Will he be healthy enough to play in the World Cup? Also ahead.
Industry is getting a bit impatient. Albertans are getting a little bit impatient.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith puts on the pressure to move closer to making a pipeline a reality. The timeline Smith is floating, that's ahead. And what was once secret and sealed is no longer. The Pentagon releases the first batch of UFO files as directed by the U.S. president. What do they reveal? Stay with us. A spectacular new image has been released from NASA's Webb Space Telescope. It shows what's called the Messier 77 galaxy, located 45 million light years away. Its nucleus is powered by a black hole that is 8 million times bigger than our sun. Surrounding gas is sucked into a tight orbit, becoming so hot that it radiates in the extreme. The Pentagon has released a new collection of previously classified UFO files. The archive contains more than 160 documents covering hundreds of reported incidents from around the world. They were released on orders from U.S. President Donald Trump. The Defense Department says more files will be released in the coming weeks. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith was in Ottawa today, putting more pressure on the Prime Minister to get moving on the Memorandum of Understanding they signed last year. She had a private meeting with Mark Carney in the morning, and by the afternoon, Smith seemed optimistic a pipeline to the coast is just a matter of time. But BC's Premier says not so fast. CTV's Tim Brooke explains.
Well, Premier, welcome. Welcome back. Thank you for making the time.
The pleasantries between the Prime Minister and Alberta's Premier didn't last long Friday.
I hope that we can get to the finish line on signing that MOU. I know industry is getting a bit impatient. Albertans are getting a little bit impatient. In Alberta, there does need to be a demonstration that Canada can work.
Danielle Smith says finalizing the pair's deal signed last November to get a new pipeline built is her top priority, and can even help national unity.
We're working to make Canada work better for Albertans and for all Canadians, and when Canada works well, it's good for the world.
A tense public meeting, but behind closed doors, the temperature was lowered. And by the afternoon, Smith's pipeline if had turned to when.
Prime Minister Mark Carney and I made significant progress towards reaching an agreement on a West Coast pipeline.
An industrial carbon pricing agreement and a carbon capture project were both discussed. Smith wouldn't provide specifics, but said both sides will talk again soon.
I hope to have something more firm to announce very, very soon.
That's still not entirely welcome news on the West Coast.
I understand that the pipeline project is of critical importance to Premier Smith, but there is still no route. There is still no proponent. Here in British Columbia, it is a very different situation.
This pipeline push and pull does come at an interesting time. In an earnings call Friday, energy company Southbow spoke of a strong demand for capacity, but did not commit to being the pipeline proponents.
Recent global events have reinforced that secure, reliable energy and the infrastructure that delivers it truly matter.
Well, I think the pipeline is one piece, and that's probably at least a decade away. But the bigger picture is, will the framework that gets put in place under the MOU allow for production to grow?
The Premier says she wants to have the MOU finalized by next month, and that her government is currently mapping out 5 potential pipeline routes.
A bit more relief at the gas pump as prices have edged down again today. Most stations in Metro Vancouver are hovering around $2.15.9 per litre. That is down about 7 cents per litre from yesterday. Prices at the pump have largely been driven by developments in the war between the U.S., Israel and Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump claims a shaky ceasefire is still holding and negotiations to end the war are ongoing. An Edmonton business owner says he's fed up with the commotion being caused at the gas station next door to his shop. He says the station's gas is much cheaper than other places in the city, and that's leading to long lines and even fist fights.
I'm just waiting for one day for nice shooting. Like they're gonna start shoot each other. Today was very close, very close. 3 police crews came. They spent 3 hours here. For what?
Jack 10 says he has called police and the city about the lineups because they can wrap around the strip mall, blocking both the street and his loading bay area. The relatively cheap price of fuel at this location often leads to chaos and frustration because of the long waits. A setback for U.S. President Donald Trump, what a court has ruled about his global tariffs, and
from the time that it was just the shed to the whole, roof on fire, it was just minutes.
Their dog is getting extra treats today after alerting them to a fire while they were sleeping and possibly saving their lives. That story ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. The CTV drone flying high above North Surrey's Bridgeview neighborhood, looking towards the North Shore Mountains on a cloudy afternoon.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
An Ottawa couple is crediting their dog with alerting them to a fire in the middle of the night. They were sleeping and their dog growling got them up to see what was going on, giving them just enough time to call 911 and get out. CTV's Katie Griffin reports.
Jennifer Phillip took this video as firefighters worked to save her house in Greeley earlier this week.
From the time that it was just the shed to the whole, roof on fire, it was just minutes.
Phillip and her husband were sleeping when just after midnight Monday, their dog Shady started to growl and bark.
He woke us up when the shed was in flames. And so he had heard, I guess, like some, crackling or whatever noise from the shed.
It quickly spread to their house.
We grabbed our fire extinguisher, but it was way too out of control at that point. Ran out of the house in a house coat with no shoes on. And as we stood on the street, within a minute, the house filled with smoke. So, Shady got us out with minutes to spare.
The fire was in an area of the city with no hydrant, so firefighters had to use tanker trucks to bring water to the scene.
A lot of homes now are built with siding, which goes up extremely fast, and it's like liquid gasoline. So you want to remember not to keep anything flammable near the siding of the house.
Ottawa Fire stressing the importance of smoke alarms and having an escape plan, adding you only have about 3 minutes to get out.
When the fire starts on the outside, by the time it gets onto the inside, it's going to leave you even less time to get out of the home.
I had a painting that I was doing of Shady and I, and they had taken that and put it on my desk and under a tarp before they had released all the water from the ceiling, and we really appreciate the care they took.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. The couple expects to be out of the house at least 6 months.
Oh boy.
As for Shady, he's getting even more love this week.
I don't think it's possible to spoil him anymore, but he has gotten even more treats this week.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
Well, you may remember last week when we told you about Chonkers, the sea lion. Well, now fans can take home their own version of the massive mammal. Chonkers has been getting a lot of attention in the San Francisco Bay, becoming something of a viral sensation. He's become so popular in the area that fans can now bring home their very own Chonkers plushie. It's being sold by the local Marine Mammal Center, and proceeds will go to help support and protect Chonkers and all of his marine mammal friends.
So
cute.
cute.
You know what? Sea lions seem to have a pretty good life. They eat a little bit, and then they lie down and just lie around all day.
Yeah, and they soak up the sun, and then they bark sometimes, and then they eat some more. I wish to come back as a sea lion in my next life.
If you're good, Karma, you can return. I'm going to do that this weekend, actually. Live
me
like
too.
a sea lion.
And you deserve it, because it is Mother's Day weekend. Every mom and mother figure out there should just relax and get catered to, I think.
Exactly.
All right, let's take a look at our forecast, because it's going to clear up quite nicely just for mums and people who take on the mum role. We are seeing mostly cloudy skies out there right now. 15 degrees, a little bit of a breeze from the east-southeast at 19 kilometers an hour. Ridge of high pressure offshore will clear things out quite nicely for the south coast. Different story for the north coast, with that low continuing to move its way in, bringing in some wet weather through this evening, overnight into tomorrow morning, as you can see in greens and yellow. But for us on the south coast, a cloudy start clears up quite nicely. We'll see a mix of sun and cloud as we head into tomorrow night. So this is what we can expect tonight. We'll see partly cloudy skies, increasing cloud coverage come tomorrow morning. Just around 8 o'clock, we'll see 12 degrees by noon. We'll get some sunny breaks in there, warming up to 22 degrees at 3 o'clock. Near the water, we'll see 18 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud, and by 6, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud and 17 degrees. You'll see lots of sunshine as well for the Central Coast and Central Interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Unsettled for Port Hardy, a few showers and a few breaks at 16. Mix of sun and cloud for Campbell River and Comox, 18 degrees. That's what you can expect for the South Island from Port Alberni right down to Victoria to Fino. You'll start off with some showers, drying up with some sunny breaks and 15 degrees. For the Sunshine Coast, a mix of sun and cloud and 19 degrees. Warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway, 20 for Whistler, 22 for Squamish, and for us across the Lower Mainland under a mix of sun and cloud, we'll see 18 degrees near the water, 22 further inland. For Mother's Day, a few clouds and 17 degrees, warming up on Monday with inland temperatures reaching 23, 22 degrees. On Tuesday, normals for this time of year is 16, and then on Wednesday we start off cloudy, clears up nicely. Showers return Thursday afternoon into Friday morning before it dries up. We'll get some sunny breaks and 15 degrees, so that's how we'll start off the May long weekend on Friday.
Sounds good, and it's good that we are finally seeing some rain in the forecast.
Yeah, hoping we see more of it as we head into the second half of the month.
All right, thanks, Sam.
You're welcome.
How long Team Canada captain Alphonso Davies will be out with his latest injury and what that could mean for the World Cup.
They had actually tried to deliver the flowers to a church in Vancouver, British Columbia, not Toronto, Ontario.
Some turn to virtual flower shops to order bouquets. Why this woman was furious with their mistake and refund policy. That's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar down slightly, trading for just above 73 cents. Oil up 61 cents, trading around $95 a barrel. Gold gained almost $20 on the day. Let's take a look at the stock market. The TSX gained 221 points, and the Dow Jones was up 12 points on the day. There has been another major legal setback for Donald Trump and his tariff war against the world. A U.S. court has ruled Trump violated the law when he imposed a new 10% tariff on most countries back in February. The Court of International Trade found the U.S. president wrongly used a decades-old law when he applied the duties. That 10% tariff was imposed after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down his previous set of sweeping tariffs on nearly all U.S. trading partners in another major setback to his trade war strategy. The busiest day of the year for ordering flowers is Mother's Day, accounting for about 30% of annual sales for many flower shops. While most bouquets arrive on time, if they don't, the refund policy may depend on the florist you choose. CTV's Pat Foran has more on how you can protect yourself.
We contacted them because the flowers had not arrived.
Loretta Young and her mother Mary were very close, and she wanted to make sure there were flowers at her funeral. She went online and ordered 2 funeral flower arrangements at a cost of $488. But on the day of the service, they didn't show up.
There was a mistake with the delivery address, that they had actually tried to deliver the flowers to a church in Vancouver, British Columbia, not Toronto, Ontario.
Following the funeral, Young contacted the website to say the flowers never arrived, but she was told there were no refunds.
I wrote back and I said, that's not unacceptable. I said, I would like a refund. It was your mistake. It wasn't mine.
But she was offered a store credit to be used all at once, or they would resend the funeral arrangements.
During this whole process, no one showed any compassion as to why I wouldn't want to have my mother's funeral flowers delivered days after her funeral.
We've trained over 5,000 students, and they're all over the country.
Don Waltho is the founder of the Canadian Institute of Floral Design. He says when you order from a virtual flower shop, you may not be dealing with the florist who delivers the arrangements. He recommends dealing directly with a local florist in your community.
We want to confirm the location of the of the event and make sure that we're there on time and we use our own drivers.
Young ordered the flowers from Bluemax Canada. A spokesperson told CTV News the initial order was entered incorrectly by our phone operator. Unfortunately, the funeral delivery window had already been missed. We sincerely regret this error and a full refund has now been issued. Young was relieved to have the matter dealt with and her money refunded.
I am so grateful to CTV for reaching out and for helping to resolve this. It's been very nice, so thank you so much.
The circus is back in town. It's time for the Friday Feel Goods. Fun things to check out this weekend just ahead. Plus, squirrel signs. Adam meets a 10-year-old, turning a distraction into an opportunity to share knowledge and spread smiles. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Plan on scooting around the city this summer? Make sure you know the laws. Monday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll sit down with RCMP to learn how the rise in micro-mobility vehicles is leading to confusion around the rules of the road. Also, another uncertainty for small businesses, how DRIPA is creating economic uneasiness. Plus, we'll learn more about this year's Ride to Survive. We'll see you Monday morning.
As Paul McCartney prepares to release his next album, he's sharing another track, his first ever duet with fellow Beatle Ringo Starr. The song is called Home to Us, and the lyrics reflect on some of the rougher elements of the two singers' childhoods in Liverpool, as well as their continued love for their hometown. Hockey Canada has named its roster for the upcoming World Championships, and a teenager from the North Shore is among the top stars selected to wear the maple leaf.
Celebrini calling for it, a shot, he
Macklin Celebrini will represent Canada at the World Championships in Switzerland after an incredible 115-point season with the San Jose Sharks. The 19-year-old is one of 5 BC-born players on the team. He's joined by Matthew Barzal, Morgan Riley, Fraser Minton, and Parker Wotherspoon. Bad news for Canada ahead of the World Cup as team captain Alphonso Davies has been injured.
Davies into Kane. Well, he scored.
Davies and Bayern Munich would go on to lose that Champions League semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain, with the Canadian star injuring his hamstring. He is expected to be out for 4 to 5 weeks, which puts his World Cup availability in jeopardy. Canada's first World Cup game is June 12th. This is Davies' third injury since December, when he returned from a lengthy layoff following knee surgery. And soccer fans will be able to rep their city just in time for the World Cup to arrive with some special new jerseys. FIFA has announced the release of the new limited edition host city jerseys. There will be a total of 999 jerseys for each of the 16 host cities, and they will cost you an eye-popping $515 Canadian. So far, FIFA has only released the jerseys for Seattle, New York, Boston, and Kansas City. No word yet on when the Vancouver-designed jersey will be available.
Is that $515 US?
No, $515 Canadian. Still, it's still a lot of money.
That is.
And we don't even get the whale on ours. Seattle has it.
Nothing's too cheap about FIFA, right? Okay, it's time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver. Here are 3 things worth checking out. The Royal Canadian Circus is kicking off its 12-city Canadian tour this weekend at the Lansdowne Centre in Richmond. The animal-free production features world-class acrobats, gravity-defying trapeze artists, comedic performances, and a motorcycle stunt team. The Royal Canadian Circus promises an evening of thrills, laughs, and memories under the big top.
Super fun. I've been before.
Have you?
I must see, yeah.
Got to get you live on location out there.
All right, done and done.
Yeah.
Doing some acrobatics.
You can just stand there. All right, check this out. Head to Burnaby this weekend for a green-thumbed extravaganza. The Bonsor Banquet Hall near Metrotown will pay host to the Secret Plant Show 4. Started by the Secret Plant Society, the event will feature interactive workshops, local and international vendors, and plenty of prizes to be won. The Secret Plant Show is free and is a must-attend weekend for anyone with a passion for plants.
A lot of gardening happening this weekend.
Yes, we'll have to check it out.
Trying to restore their 2-goal lead. The free kick's off the post. Taryn Campbell cleans up the rebound.
The first round of the Canadian Championship wraps up in BC on Sunday afternoon with the first ever Langley Derby. The stadium at Langley Event Centre will play host to Canadian Premier League team Vancouver FC taking on Langley United of the BC Premier League. Tickets are available for as little as $12. Some affordable family fun.
Yeah.
So much going on this weekend. And the Mother's Day thing.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. And Lauren is here now with a look ahead to your late news. Lauren?
Mijang, some local whale lovers are taking safety into their own hands. We'll have more on what they're doing to help avoid any further incidents after that gray whale was hit by a jet skier this week. And the latest snowpack numbers are out, and they paint a pretty grim picture in parts of the province. The warnings, as we are already seeing such hot, dry weather, and the areas where experts say the situation is actually dire.
Yeah, this is where we definitely need the rain. Okay, thank you, Lauren. Finally, Adam meets a young squirrel expert who is just chomping at the bit to spread the word about his bushy-tailed friends with the people in his community. On the Sawatsky sign-off.
When you're in the middle of an assignment, like Lucas Sarko, and something unexpected catches your eye,
and I looked out the window, and I just saw a bunch of squirrels.
Whether you notice a squirrel, or whether you don't notice your microphone cord is dropped in front of your camera until it's too late, it's hard to focus on anything else.
I love playing baseball and hockey.
But Lucas didn't know what he liked about squirrels, so he started doing some research.
Pretty cool.
Cool how squirrels can live between multiple homes.
They're kind of movers and shakers. They just jump around a bunch.
But the coolest thing of all, Lucas says, was about flying squirrels.
And they actually don't fly. They have like wing flaps, kind of like in a spy movie, and they just like glide.
And then, kind of like James Bond doing surveillance, Lucas noticed how some people walking past the window looked like they needed a license to thrill.
They seemed a bit kind of sleepy.
So, like 007 might have a fountain pen that turns into a rocket launcher, Lucas used chopsticks and Scotch tape to make informative signs about squirrels that would blow people's minds.
Well, because then they have information to share with their friends and stuff.
And after placing a series of signs on a nearby wall, calling them party conversation starters for squirrel people,
the African pygmy squirrel is the smallest at 10 centimeters long.
Lucas is realizing it's not a mission impossible to wake people up to the wonder of the natural world.
Feels great. I didn't know flying squirrels didn't fly. They glide up to 450 meters. I'm going to want to share this. There are going to be more people by the end of the day that know these facts.
While the squirrel signs are so successful, Lucas is in the midst of researching for upcoming series on marmots and lizards. He can't be distracted from sharing the lasting lesson he's learned about doing something nice for others.
Well, kind of when they have a smile on their face, it just makes me have a smile on my face. It's kind of like a win-win.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
I love it when kids are just like, they've got downtime.
Yeah.
And they just are creative and able to do
And
something
curious.
like that. Yeah, he's very curious.
Just loves learning.
Yeah, and the little conversation starters.
Yeah, and I love he's spreading his knowledge to everybody else, making those signs. He needs to come here and just like give us all these signs and information, right?
And I want to see a flying squirrel now.
Yeah, they glide. They should just be called gliders.
Smart.
All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot just in time for Mother's Day weekend. Yes, a Canada goose and her goslings at Burnaby Lake. How adorable. Thanks, Sylvester, for sending this beautiful photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
How cute. We'll have a great Mother's Day. And don't forget, it's Mother's Day. There might be some people that slip
Good
their
reminder.
mind. All right, thanks for joining us.
Good night.